Yeah, thank you so much for coming through. This topic of immigration, I think when I was here before, like 2010, until like say 2013, 2014, it was not so much on the news. But I think recently, every time you turn on your TV, it's like net immigration, illegal immigrants, immigration, immigration. I mean, first of all, let me just introduce the show. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Living Abroad. And today we have like a special guest, a very special lady to me and my daughter, because she actually helped us get our visas. So, Lily, please introduce yourself and don't leave anything out because I'm going to have your details in the description so that if people need like your advice and everything, they can reach out to you. So, tell us who you are and what you do, everything that you do, so that people can know who you are.
My name is Lilliy Pryde, and I am the paralegal. I'm actually the first accredited paralegal by the Law Society in Scotland, um, the, specializing in immigration laws. And I started this job since 2010. And so, yes, that is what I do.
Mhm.
And we and I worked in Edinburgh. I think that is all about me. It's just enough. Yes, that I know we're all concerned about the changes.
Mm.
But there's not much to see at this moment, although you can see the various news and about changes. Um, and before we arrange this meeting, actually, the financial threshold in terms of the spouse visa has changed again. When we first contacted, that was we knew that the intention was increased up to 38,700,
Yes, that's the
which
last I
is
know.
sky high. But now we were told, based on lots of protests
Mm.
the people are obviously not very happy about it, and now down to 29,000, which is a little bit, should I say, reasonable. But I know, and even based on the current rules, um, lots of people are still struggle to meet the requirements. But
Mhm.
now goes up to 29, and that is, at least we know that is the Home Secretary's intention, and it will coming into effect and after spring,
Mm.
unless the Home Secretary gets sacked, and a new one decide to change the policy. The January election, the come early, and the Conservative gets kicked
Mm.
out, and but all of which are very unlikely. So what I say is we should be prepared, because once those new rules come into effect, um, right now we can only know the intentions are, so we get prepared. Well,
Mm.
we perhaps I don't know whether that would be a more debate,
Mm.
but we all know that the Home Secretary has got a right to amend the rules without go to the Parliament debate. So he has
Mhm.
a right to amend any rules. So there's not much to say at this moment.
Mm.
We only know the income based on salary requirements, and we don't know whether those savings rules are still remain the same, or according to the calculation will be increased accordingly,
Mm.
or some other rules will change. So we have to wait until those rules get printed and black and white in the Home Office website, and the lawyers could advise accordingly. And also there are some other ways, and if the applicants cannot meet the requirements, and we will advise based on their background and their financial background and their family and relationship and the parents especially, but we cannot talk that is a discretion part.
Yeah.
We all know that the home office case workers, they do have the right to interpret the law as well as exercise their discretion right. So we have to give advice based on case to case.
Yeah, I mean, this 29,000, it's not the minimum wage, is it? It's high, it's a little bit higher than the minimum wage, right? So
Yeah,
now,
yes.
if you are in love with someone who is on minimum wage, what does that mean for you? Whether you are overseas or you are in the UK, what does that mean for you? If, I mean, you can't help it, but you just work like your minimum wage, what would that mean?
Well, if you are earning minimum wage, let's talk about the current, based on the current rules.
The
That is
29,000 or the 18,000, yeah.
18,600. So and I think most of people
Yes.
can meet that.
Yeah.
But don't forget, you when the new comes effect, let's say 29,000, and you're still earning, let's say 20,000, but you still can use your savings to add on, right? And this is something we could discuss, based on individual cases. We will check whether you have savings from either side, not just from the applicant or the sponsor. And also, we would find out whether you would get any help from friends and families. But you have to be aware that it's not borrow money, it's not a loan we're talking about. It's that they could support you, such as normally from the parents. They would give you some wedding present or a gift. And that is not a loan, that is
A gift.
to support you.
Yeah.
But this money paid into either of your bank accounts or joint names accounts has to be there for more than 6 months before you could use as evidence. So these things we can discuss about. And we also come across that, say, the both of the parties, like sponsor and the applicant, they been living abroad for many years, but then at some point they decide to move back to
Yes.
the sponsor's country, which is in the UK. So the sponsor has no time to, well, basically you should come back first and locate
Work, yeah.
accommodation and the job and get everything settled before you apply your spouse. And if they have a children, obviously the children are British as well, and they can come with the sponsor. But this is the bit inhuman thing here is the family has to be apart before they can
Be
reunion again.
together.
So that is very hard for the families. So we did successfully made a case for people like that, like in that position. But the sponsor, who is the British citizen, he or she could secure a job from the British companies, one of them, and offer them a job and the guarantee they can start this work in 3 months or whatever, but
Okay.
not very long. And the company would guarantee the job position, salary, etc. Obviously, the salary has to meet the current requirement threshold. That is very encouraging for us. It's not just rules you have to meet, and if you don't have this money, you cannot come over here.
Mm,
It's not exactly the case. So there's
mm,
always a way to work around. But I'm not saying if you don't have anything prospective, and we would nobody could give you any guarantees if you tick all the boxes.
mm.
But I think I should say the at least the good news is the new
Mm.
rules only apply for the new applicants,
Okay.
not those for extension or the come to indefinite to remain. This is a final
Okay.
part for most of the people. So that is kind of reassuring for
Mm.
most of people to say, okay, for the extension, I still go with
But
the,
yeah,
the,
but
old
I
rules.
mean, yeah, do you think, I mean, this 29,000 will stick out? Because
Yeah.
I just cannot believe that they will actually make that law.
Well,
Because,
like I said, we cannot say exactly what the Home Office said. They could not say this is a
yes,
minimum wage. At the moment, they say you have to meet the minimum wage, which is 18,600.
yes,
But
that,
when they
that,
come
that,
up
that
to
sounds fair.
29,000, no, cannot. But like I said, the new rules hasn't been published in their website.
Mhm.
It has not become the rules and the new regulations. So we don't know what they're going to say. It's a very good point. The government cannot say this is a minimum wage. So not contradicting with with themselves. But we will see when the new rules comes out.
But I mean, since you've started working as a lawyer here, like, what do you think this whole, like, it's just like all of a sudden there's this attention to immigration and net immigration. Is there any basis to what the government says? I know you'll be biased because you're on the side of us, you are on our side, right? But is there any basis to what they say about this, like the influx of immigrants that are coming over and they need to clamp down on immigration?
I personally don't think those legal migrants are the issue. We actually should encourage those people come to work in
Mm,
here because we have a shortage of people to pay tax to because we are facing the age group. This is not just us. And we
mm,
should encourage young people come over here. And most those people who come over here under this category, they are not just coming here to put their feet up and to claim benefits.
mm.
They're coming here to work. They have various skills. But we would. I'm an immigration lawyer. I'm not a politician. So I in one hand, I could understand where they come from. But on
Mm,
the other hand, I think this is rather like a cut-hand way to sort of one problem and increase
another
another
problem.
problem. You must have heard recently there's the changes about the visitor visa. We all know visitor visa is a shortest and just allow you to be here to
Okay,
spend
so
some
we just
time, and you
moved
cannot
on.
do anything.
Okay,
You
sorry.
cannot extend the visa, you cannot switch. But right now they're thinking about after this month, the visitors may pick up
Okay,
some
okay. No, I did not hear about that one. Sorry to cut you there. So
Well,
we
but
moved on to
the thing
the.
is, now we discuss and get everyone excited. But in the end of the day, we have to see everything printed out, and then people could decide, well, um, whether
So what are they saying?
this to
Yeah,
them.
yeah. So what are they exactly saying about the visitors visa?
The people under visitor visa, like, uh, they might be allowed to work, and that is that. So there's a lot of changes, like I said.
So you saying
This
all is
month,
not lost. So if you still have the dream of coming to the UK, whether you want to extend or you overseas, you can still find a way.
yes, that is what I'm saying. Don't lose
Yeah,
your hope.
yeah.
Yeah, there is always a way. And right now I think the government is encourage people to uh, they want to grow the economy. So I think it's there is a chance to find better paid jobs, and if you are able. But anyway, if you act as a sponsor, there is some effort you have to do.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. And we all know right now, people who, for some reason, they cannot work if they receive a disabled and funds benefit, they don't need to meet uh, those requirements. They don't meet those threshold. So that still remains the same, and so
Oh,
they can
okay.
still sponsor their
You
spouse.
can use your benefits if you
And
are.
they don't use your benefit. It's not the way to say you use your benefit, but if you are certain, you are uncertain benefit you are receiving, uh, certain like you are a disabled person,
Mhm.
and also if you are a carer of someone,
Yeah.
like a man, he's a carer of his elderly mother,
Mhm.
and he wants to bring his wife from Philippines,
Mhm.
and well, obviously he's not working, but he's
Mhm.
receiving carer's allowance, and he's still able to sponsor his wife come from Philippines or Thailand
Because there's a
or
reason why they are not
wherever.
working. Yes.
Yeah. So it's not this requires everybody. Well, like I said, every time if we have a inquiry, we need to sit down, not just the first ask, do you have the money? How much is your salary?
Yes.
If not, there's no answer. Don't come to the office. We all need to find out, we have some interrogation to do to see what
Mhm.
happened is and what are you doing, savings, what did you do before, what is your so we need to find out everything before we will make a conclusion. And it's even if just a no for for at the moment doesn't mean there's a no forever. So
Mhm.
perhaps we could advise what they can do to be able to make this happen.
Mhm. Okay, I just do have like one more question
Yes,
from one of my listeners because they knew I was being an immigration lawyer, right? So the question is, they overseas and they
yes.
are currently married. They married overseas with a British citizen and nationality, right?
Mhm.
So they are British. The partner is British, and then they married
Yes,
overseas. But now
yes.
the partner is a pensioner. So now the
Pensioner,
question
right.
is, if ever something happens overseas and we would like to come back to the UK, what would we do?
Yes. Okay. And well, and we all know if just receiving state pension, that's not enough.
Mm.
So the pensioner still have to meet the financial rules. And he's British. He can come back anytime, or
Mhm.
he can bring the wife. Oh, sorry, I just assume this is a male
Yeah, it's a male,
and
yes.
British partner. Okay,
Mm.
but we need to find out, does he have any savings? And apart from the state pension, so
Mhm.
we can add this on together, and we can tell if the sponsor meet the
But is
financial
there any
requirement.
cap to the savings? How much are we looking at in pounds?
Well, at the moment, if we don't take income, the state pension is his income, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if that is his only income.
Mhm.
And some of the pensioner, they call themselves pensioners, but they do have private pension when
Oh, okay.
when they
Oh,
work,
okay.
and they set up a private pension pool. So they received sometimes more than two as a state pension and
Oh,
another
okay.
two private pensions. So altogether, they meet the financial requirement. But let's see, let's just this partner only receive one state pension, which and I think is let's say 10 grand a year.
Mm.
And sometimes it's not that much, but they increased a little bit. So let's say 10,000 a year, that is not enough. But we still need to ask, does he have any
Savings.
savings? So we can add it on. for the savings on its using savings to meet the financial requirement should be 62,500 for the current rules based on the current requirement. So, but he has 10 grand, so he doesn't need to have 62,000. But there's a way to calculate exactly. So we need to find out how much. First of all, if he said, I only have 10,000 savings, they cannot be used and as they cannot take this 10 grand into account. That is absolutely not enough. And annual savings can come up to 16,000 can take into account. But even, let's say based on this case, he has a state pension, 10,000, and he has a 20,000 savings, still not enough. Right, okay. So now we have to ask another question. Does he have any assets in the UK? Because he's a British citizen. Well, but for the assets, for like, let's say he has a bungalow and he rented out. And that is also, if he rented out, that is a rental income. We can take into account how much he receives. Very encouraging news that is the people allowed to work, maybe allowed to work and under visitor visa. So that is very encouraging because people could have a multiple entry, 5 years, 10 years, multiple entry visitor visa. So that means they can come to the UK for 6 months of each year. So during that 6 months, they can seek for the seasonal jobs. And
that is under the new rules. It's not been implemented.
Under the new rules. So this is something we could speculate. We can have some preparations, have some thoughts.
That is really encouraging. Yes.
Yeah.
Like even the simplest as a visitor's visa, right? You ask yourself a lot of questions. How much money do I have to have in my account in order for me to sponsor someone to come and visit me in the UK?
Well, for that question, based on the current rules, and this is not a special requirement, but with the common sense, if you invite your friend, let's say you have a very good childhood friend, you want to invite her, first of all, you need to have a reason, or he or she needs to have a reason to come to visit. This is a kind of a mutual home office. I believe this is a genuine case. This is not someone wants to come over here using this visitor visa and stay forever without leaving. So first of all, you need to have a reason, generally just to celebrate your birthday, or there's something worse to celebrate, or just to want to spend some time together. Anything reasonable, genuine, that is fine. Second of all, as a sponsor, you don't have to have a lots of money to become a sponsor for a visitor applicant, but anything should be reasonable. If you think you will cover the cost of the expenses during your friend's stay, then we needed to talk about how long he or she is going to stay. And if this applicant is going to stay for 3 months with you, which they are allowed, and 3 months time is you cover the expenses. So we needed to give the Home Office your income. Can you afford to look after your friend for 3 months, right? And what are you going to do? We need to give them plans for 3 months. And for example, what you are going to do with this friend. So you need to make a calculation of how much. Well, obviously, you don't need to hire a limousine and go to the luxury restaurant every day, blah, blah, blah. But just reasonable. If you are struggle financially by yourself and you said, I'm going to cover my friend, that is not very believable. And also another case is the applicant cover the cost by themselves. So they to provide their financial means, like how much saving they have. But for the visitor visa, the government never sets a threshold. So you have to, because it's unreasonable to ask them to say how much money. But the thing is, the more assets you have, not the savings, just the savings, the assets you have in your own home country. And if you have a job, if you have any ties, strong ties for you to go back to, it's more likely this case will be succeed. But
Yeah,
if you are a single person, like you are 20, you are not married, or you don't have even have a partner, you have no job, you have no assets, you have nothing. And then you say, "Oh, I want to come to visit Pamela, my friend." Um,
yeah,
so this case, even the family say, I will cover the air tickets, everything. I will provide accommodation. Again, talking about
you
accommodation, if
look,
the applicant is
yeah,
going to stay with a sponsor, you need to provide the accommodation details, etc. So the visitor visa actually, the complication of visitor visa
yeah.
is the same as any leave to remain, although you only get 6 months. But you, after the first visa, if that is successful, it's easy get another one.
Um,
Another one, maybe perhaps you can get 5 years multiple entry, or
in the
this time
current,
10 years.
in the current rule.
In current rules, yes,
Okay.
current rules. You
The
can
other
only
thing,
apply. You have a chance to apply for 2 years multiple entry, which means you can come 4 times
also
without apply again.
the first time you can do that, or the second time.
And sometimes, well, it depends, but you are allowed to apply if they allow you, if they give you that route. So
Mm,
you can apply for 2 years multiple entry for the
okay.
first time, which means in 2 years' time, you can come and go as long as you don't stay in the UK more than 6 months in
Yeah,
one
yeah, at
go.
the time. Okay.
Um,
All right. I mean, there's so many. Okay, so what about because I think this is another confusion thing, right? If you say, okay, I don't have enough money, or maybe I have 2,000 pounds in my account, and I'm like, okay, my friend isn't working, I'm sponsoring this visa for my friend or my
or
family
a
member.
visitor visa
Yes,
for
so my
visiting.
family member comes, right?
Mhm,
So now I said, okay, they're only gonna stay for 2 weeks, but they've been given
mhm.
6 months. So what are the rules about, can that affect them the next time? If I say on the first application they're gonna come for 2 weeks and they end up saying staying for the whole 6 months. Now, next time they apply.
Good point, Pamela. I'm glad you asked me this question because lots of people they got the visitor visa, and when they apply, they said they
two
stay for
weeks.
2 or 3 weeks.
Mm.
But they didn't have they was to stay as long as I'm allowed. But when they apply, they thought just to put a shorter time will be easier. And when they got their visa, I say 6 months and the
Mm.
period. So they thought, okay, I can stay 5 months or 4 months. And next time when they apply, the Home Office reject their application, saying you breached the rules, you overstayed. And this, I didn't overstay. I went back before my visa expired. But the Home Office, when you applied, you said you stay for 2 weeks. So that's at the time when you put on the application is the time you can stay. But the Home Office, when they issue visa, they issue 6 months because that is a standard visa type.
They can't give
Give
short
you 6 months. Yeah, they cannot give you shorter. They cannot give you
2 weeks.
the time according to an application. So you have to be aware. This is very important. Um, so you have to say tell lies to say, oh, I only stay here for 2 weeks, but
Mm.
actually you do want to stay longer. Just tell them you want to stay for 4 months if that is what you want.
But then they're
Say
gonna ask for more money than in your account, right? If you
well, it is all come to into the calculation. Well, longer, you have to prove that you have the money because according to the current rules, you cannot allow to work. So
mm,
you have to
yes.
spend your money on the account. So if you're going to spend 6 months maximum
Mm,
in this visit, you need to have a well each day you spend they say £50 or whatever
mm.
because the accommodation was covered. So you need to have 6 months each day, you need to have this money to prove that you can stay here without to have a destitution, or you have to you are into
Yeah.
trouble.
And I think that's what, like, maybe most people, they get denied the second time they apply for the visitor's visa, because they think if I say I'm staying for 3 weeks, then I can just stay until the very last day of my visa. So
It's
it
not the
is
case,
overstay. So it is
Pamela. No,
overstaying if you stay longer
no.
than 2 weeks, right?
Yeah,
It's overstaying.
yeah. If you said you stay for 10 days and you if you stayed 12 days, you breached the rules and you overstayed. And that is the concept of overstay. So lots of people didn't know that.
No.
And and they feel uh oh, they try to argue, but remember, the visitor visa has no right to do the academy review or appeal. So, but that is very damaging. If the refusal later, the reason for the refusals, one
It's
of the
overstaying.
reasons were you overstayed. So there's like no chance for you to come again. And that is very damaging. So we have to be aware. You tell the
Mm.
truth, and you do exactly what you said on the application, and that will make the next application much easier, and you will get a
Wow.
more entering time. Or perhaps next time you want to come under another category,
It's
and that
easier.
these are all good record.
Honestly, like, this has been so confusing, like, for all of us. And thank you so much for clearing that, because it is, like, really, really confusing. And I think if you have a family, especially if you have a family here, you can tell the truth and say, especially if I'm sponsoring someone and I'm working, I can prove that I'm working. I'll be sponsoring this because this is how much I earn. So for 6 months I can look after this person.
Yeah, yeah. As long as you
Mm,
tell the truth, I think you should be based on the truth. And there's no like exactly how much they require you to spend. If you don't have that much money, I only spend 20 pounds a day.
mm,
And I can manage. I can get by. We don't have to go out. We just buy things from supermarket and cook at home.
mm.
So
I
that
just want
is
to spend
doable.
time with my family member.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. The best way is to tell the truth, and you don't just make things up, and then you need other things to cover it. And that is the way we should be aware.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm not gonna take any more of it. I have so many questions.
That's okay, Pamela. I'm glad. Well, I always willing to answer questions because I always believe if I answer question correctly and give them the correct advice, could
Mm.
avoid a lot of trouble,
Yes.
potential troubles in the future. And this is very stressful situation for people want to apply for something if they're
Mm.
facing the uncertainties. And sometimes people don't really willing to go to the lawyers because they think we're expensive, we charge money. Obviously, we have to.
Yeah.
But it's not the case. I know some lawyers will charge for the consultation, but some don't.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could find some lawyers, they don't charge for the first consultation, at least you find out what you need to know.
Mm.
And some people, if they, they are able to organize their own applications. So some firms like us, we if we don't represent the application from beginning to the end, but we provide a checkout for service, which means if you get everything done and you pay less, so at least I can check your preparation, I can
Mm-hmm.
check your supporting documents,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a chance to ask you why you give this answer in that application,
Mm-hmm.
and I can advise you. And the fee would be much less, just a couple of £100. So I
Mm-hmm.
think people could afford that fee to make sure that they did the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's not like lawyers are expensive. I don't go to them, and I can
And then you
handle
end up
that.
scrambling and making, like, a huge mistake that would impact your life. Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
We have
understand.
a lot of people end up in the refusal and they realize then they come back. But in that situation, sometimes we have to charge more
The problem
to
now,
do
yeah.
the second application because we need to cover, we need to explain the refusal. We need to spend more time on the next application. So we have to quote more fees, but that is the consequences.
Of trying to cut costs. To be honest, Lilly, thank you so much for coming through and making time for us. I have so many questions, but I must say, right, you've been so positive because all the questions that I have here are so negative. Oh, what are we doomed? What are we like? All the people that they started asking me questions, but you have, I think what I've got from you today is there's always a chance and there's always a way. It's not all.
Well, I think, Pamela, this is the first time I come to your like a podcast, but I still think this is a conversation between you and me because I know you, I could feel relaxed.
Yeah.
But I did give a lot of online consultations, and especially during the pandemic. So in the past, we must see clients, even give a consultation, we must do see face to face in the office. But that gives me some experience doing this consultation online. So perhaps if you do have a lot of questions, maybe you could organize a time for people who has a question, and we could together online and answer questions.
Okay.
Because if I answer to you, and you explain to other people, there might be a way that there's a loose end. And then there's a more question come
There's
over.
more, yes. Because the
Yeah,
more I
yeah.
kept asking you questions, the more questions I have. The more questions.
And then perhaps maybe you know, maybe you don't, but
Yeah.
you are not in that position to give them
Yeah.
the professional answer. And so so I'm willing
Yeah.
to
Thank you
answer
so
their
much.
questions. Yeah,
I'll
yeah. If
organize
you
everyone who has a
organize,
question, maybe in one of these days in the coming months, because this whole immigration thing is coming up, you know.
oh yes,
So
yes, this is a
thank you
big
so much
deal
for
now.
coming. And I'm really, really
It's nice
hoping
to
that
talk
you'll
to
come
you
back
actually.
again.
So well, I'm so pleased, and I still remember the first time you came to me.
I
You
was
had such a
frustrated.
worried face, but yeah, you're you're beautiful. You look so happy now, and you're doing this, and it's so. I really admire you, Pamela, because
Yeah.
yeah, I can only help people who reach to me, and I do my best to help my clients, but this is the best way to just answer questions in
Mm,
general, and the people will get more benefit.
mm.
And I like this way. So I don't mind if
Okay.
you could organize, and as long as I have time, I will join
Yes.
you, and we could do this
Thank you
together.
so much. And even now, I can know at least 4 or 5 people, and some of them have sent these questions and say, "Can you ask this? Can you ask this?" So now that is open. That maybe one day we can just have like a Zoom for everyone to just like come in.
Yes. So what I'm saying is sometimes even the rules being printed out is quite confusing.
Mm.
So we needed
No,
to read that carefully.
thank you
Anyway,
so much. And I know I'll get a lot and lots of questions. So we'll organize the Zoom. Or if
yeah,
people
yeah,
have they want to get in contact with you, I will put like your email and then people can maybe just
yeah.
have a chat with you because there's lots of questions. And thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank you so
it's
much.
pleasure.
And I'm
Yeah,
glad.
I'm very pleased. I'm very glad we had this chat.
And I
And
think you must be
yeah,
proud. Like you work so hard, and I mean, I know how hard you work for me. And I came to your office, I did not have hope. And I now it comes through because I was just like, Lily, I don't know how we'll do. And you were just so calm, like, just give me the paperwork, give me this paperwork, just give me this, just give me this. Everything will be fine. And you must be so proud to see us here, happy, working, and raising our kids. And
this
really, that
is a
is,
yeah, this is
yeah,
the award. This is award, not just we charge a fee, we did the work, and
yeah.
when we see, yeah, people like you once the city is sorted, and you
And I think
just
it must also give you comfort when you hear all these negative things about immigrants, and when you stand there fighting for us. You know me, you know my daughter, and you can, and I think there's thousands and hundreds of other people as well. When you fight, this is what you're fighting for, so people can be here and make a life and not commit crime and not sit around. We work. I work 2 jobs. I work in a prison and I work as a carer, and I'm raising my kids. My daughter is going to university now, so it's like when you fight there, I
we
think.
still need to change people's
Yes.
ideas. Some
Yeah.
if they don't know us,
Yeah.
they would easily be misguided
Yeah,
by
we
the
can talk for
mainstream.
days. I'll let you go. Thank
Oh
you
yeah,
so
yeah,
much.
yeah.
We'll talk again.
Can meet in Edinburgh, and somewhere we can meet face to face. We can chat, and
Yes.
yeah, yeah. I like you, Pamela. So
Thank you
we should.
so much.
Now we are not in that relationship, client and
Yeah.
lawyer. So we are friends. So
Yeah.
we should meet more often.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll
Oh,
keep you in
don't
touch.
mention that. Pleasure,
Thank you.
pleasure. Okay. Bye bye. Bye for now.